And we were told right off the bat, you will fail as a company working with your best friends and family. I mean, they said it directly to us, and they were like, you should get out now.
They said what they needed to say for us to say, we're going to prove you wrong.
And, you know, you have to do what's right for the company, but, you know, if that goes against like maybe a family issue, a relationship in there, like it's tough. But so far, we're hanging in there.
Here we are.
We're 17, going in 18 years in next month. So it's been a wild ride.
Welcome to Aggie Legends, where we talk with founders, CEOs, and other successful Aggies about the lessons in leadership they've experienced throughout their careers. I'm your host, Ben Wiggins, May's MBA class of 2018, and today we are coming to you from Dude Perfect HQ3, talking with two of the founding members, Garrett Hilbert and Cody Jones. Guys, what's up?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having us on. I feel inadequate, to be honest, that intro. You said like founders, leaders, some other stuff that I don't know if I fit that bucket.
Yeah, I agree. I'm wearing one of our new merch drop hoodies for this, so I feel a little underdressed. But you know what? I'll still
the leader right there, plugging merch already right off the bat.
I appreciate the hoodie. I also appreciated the seafoam. It's all been good.
They're both
it's all
great.
been good. But both grads of Texas A&M class of 2010. Garrett graduated with an architecture degree, and Cody is an Ag Econ graduate with a degree in finance and real estate. And both have been a part of Dude Perfect since the first backyard trick shots went viral. Dude Perfect started as just a bunch of friends goofing off. What were you feeling when that first video went viral?
When we started it, it was really like I didn't live with them. I was just over there every day. They were just too dirty for me.
Nice.
But I came and just, experienced the fun and then left. But we were just a bunch of friends who've always loved competition. Weren't super hardcore into like, the fraternity scene or whatever. So we put a basketball goal in our backyard, and we all grew up playing basketball. It was a big passion of ours. And it was just like, hey, who can make this shot better? And so that's kind of how it started. And then we put it online for our parents to see.
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, Corey gets woken up from a phone call from Good Morning America, and they're like, want to talk about this video we filmed. And since then, it's just skyrocketed. We had no intention to like start a company. Had no intention to form this now very big corporation. So, but it's been a super fun ride, and we're having fun doing it.
Even up to a year ago, Garrett still didn't believe we had made it as far as, hey, do I need to get another job? And I'm like, Garrett, I think we're going to be okay. And he's like, dude, I'm just stressed. I just feel like the YouTube market is decreasing, and I'm going to have to go be an architect. I'm like, yeah, that's okay.
There's a lesson to that for kids, just always be looking at that next thing.
Yeah,
you just never know.
Have a backup plan. It's good. It's good.
So you've gotten a call from GMA now.
Yeah.
Like there's something happening. But when did you guys decide, okay, it's this, at least for the time being, it's this instead of going to be an architect?
Yeah, we didn't, honestly, life situations kind of decided it for us. Cody was about to take a youth pastor job down in Austin. He was going to move churches. Ty was a career change. I was about to either go full-time. I just got my graduate degree in architecture and was like going to go all in and get my license and stuff like that. And the twins were still just kind of like keeping this dream of like Dude Perfect full-time. And so it was really just like, hey, it was in April. We were at the Final Four in Georgia, in Atlanta. And I just remember Ty's like, hey, I either have to quit Dude Perfect or quit my job and do it till the end of the year. And we're like, that's kind of crazy, but yeah, we'll do it, And we all had wives at the time. The twins didn't, but the three of us were married, and so like we were financially secure from our wives.
That teacher salary was nice.
I mean, back when you're a 21-year-old, no kids, a teacher salary's nice.
Yeah, at that time we were probably 24, and so it was an interesting transition to think YouTube could be a full-time job, and no one had seen that work out well. Like at the time, it was unknown, and so even my wife for a while would just still tell people I was either in real estate or youth ministry. Like, I'm not going to tell them you're a YouTuber because that's not a thing. And today it's just crazy to see a lot of kids now are saying, I would love to be an influencer one day. and it's just a whole different
It is a whole different
20
world.
years later.
So like 4 years after college, we got to basically go back to college, which is just hanging out with the bros, 9 to 5, like creating fun videos and trying to figure out like, how do we make this a job?
Yeah.
And we were super blessed. I mean, the Lord provided right off the get-go. Like, this was the right decision because we landed our biggest deal 2 weeks after we quit. And it was very affirming, like, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
What does biggest deal mean in this context?
So we had, when we first, when we were in college, we had GMC approach us for a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
And I love GMC, no offense to them, but they fleeced us for sure. They for NBA's final commercial, they said, hey, we'll pay you $60,000.
Okay.
We're college kids. I mean, we were like, oh,
we won the lottery,
dude. We just locked this up. It actually
Struck
ended
it
up
rich.
doing like, it was one of their most successful campaigns, like billions of impressions. And turns out like later on in life, we're like, oh, they spent like $4 million to create commercials and it's fine. But so like that was like the brand deals were when I'm referring to like the biggest deal. Mm-hmm. We actually got signed on to a kind of like an agent per se. They were called Whistle Sports. And so it was a multi-year deal that was financially, it gave us a big runway to be like, okay, hey, we can like not stress out about this and kind of really take our time and make some fun decisions and do this thing.
As you were making those decisions, what lessons are you pulling from the college education and also from the Hard Knocks education?
Yeah, I mean, we all had different backgrounds. The twins were communications. Tyler was wildlife and fisheries. Garrett was architecture, and then I was business. And it was kind of a mix. Like, we all kind of took our own lane. Kobe kind of handled the business side of things and the phone calls with the brands. Tyler was head of creative, like the ideas of what videos we're going to film. Mm-hmm. Garrett was our CFO, so he handled all the expenses, all the revenue that was pouring in.
Yeah.
I handled all social media. So back then it would have been like Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter.
Vine.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And merchandise at the time. And then Corey was our video editor. And so filming wise, it was me and the twins would rotate. And so we always had someone down below filming the shot and someone up top with Ty filming the like first person angle. And so at the time, for the first 5 years, Dude Perfect was a trick shot channel. We were trying to get on SportsCenter Top 10. We were trying to, just do mind-blowing trick shots. Mm-hmm. And our big pivot was in 2014 when Corey came up with the concept of stereotypes, which would have been like a skit-based comedy show. And so what I tell kids a lot is like, whatever you're known for in the YouTube space, if you're making content, pivot. Like, always have another lane that you can hit, because diversifying is the key. The minute we made that switch from just trick shot guys to now we're just personalities, the business changed completely. And so now we're able to do a podcast and, TV shows and movies and all the things that we do because we kind of got out of that one trick shot. We're still known as that, but it's not all we do.
Yeah.
Briefly on that, do you think it was the act of pivoting more generally, or was it that specific pivot that brought you guys as personalities into it that made you characters beyond just sort of, not the backdrop exactly, but sort of you are the real draw is the trick shot?
Yeah, I think the pivot needs to be the right pivot. Like, I don't think just pivoting in general will be successful. I do think like we weren't thinking of it that way when we did it. It was something different for us to film because we were running out of trick shot ideas. Like, how can we keep topping ourselves? And it is just getting absurd at this point.
Right.
And it did something that we didn't even expect, and that is it made us these personalities that kids could latch onto. And there's 5 of us. And so we've always said, like, we're a team. A team it's like a basketball squad. You got 5 guys. That's how the idea of Panda came in, because every team has a mascot. Yeah. And so we operate as a team. Like, if this was like 3 of us, if this was just Ty, like I don't believe it's successful. Like, the team has just been such an integral piece to our company because we all have different backgrounds. We all have different opinions. We all bring something just new to the table, and it's really worked out well. Yeah,
and you guys' longevity as a team, though, has been really remarkable. Like, so 5 guys, everybody's still here. Like, what has helped you like kind of stay the course together? I mean, it's been exciting, but
Yeah.
there's obviously more to it.
There's
than
hardships
that.
for sure.
Yeah, I think with our business, we're now up to 75 employees, and that's changed in the last 2 years. Before that, it was about 20. But I would say of all the different challenges that we face, the 5 of us as owners being unified is the most difficult, just because each day we come in with different aspirations, different ideas, and you've got to navigate conflict well or it doesn't work. And so our faith in Jesus has been our like bedrock of the entire business from the first day we started. We said no to, alcohol commercials, betting sites. And so it just set us apart from the other online trash at the time where people were going to YouTube in order to say cuss words and be raunchy, and it made us become brand safe. And so it was this lane that we accidentally fell into just because that's who we are. But I would say all in all, it's our ability to apologize, be quick to listen, and we still have so many fights. Like in the same day, I can be like, I am going to destroy you, son. And then you're also like, dude, you're my best friend. Let's go play basketball. So it's having thick skin, but also some humility and knowing like when you're wrong or when it's not worth fighting about.
What brought you to I'm going to destroy you, son?
Oh, that one would have specifically been...
No, there's a bunch, man.
I mean, I told you right before we started filming, I was doing a TikTok upstairs, and my social media guy goes, I want you to slam the wall and say this line, and I did. And it was on Garrett's office wall, and all of a sudden I just hear shattering glass, and I turn the
brutal,
corner,
dude. Just found this
and there's
out.
just, like, it's his Johnny Manziel signed picture, it's Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman co-signing one. Just
Yeah, it's all right, though, dude.
see,
It's
look
fine,
at
dude.
this.
It's
What a
materials.
nice guy. But see, he was like, dude, you're paying for that. I go, dude, I'm going to destroy you. I'm not paying for that. That's Judah's fault.
No, yeah. I mean, it's taken us a long time to learn the humility side of it and the grace side of it. Obviously, we're human, and no one likes to be wrong. Like I tell my kids that all the time is like they're lying because they don't want to get caught in the wrong. And it's like we all do that. We do that when we're 50. It's like no one likes to be told like you're wrong. Like it's just against the grain of humanity, and it's a constant work every day that and luckily again there's 5 of us. Like if it's just me and Cody, like I don't know, like that fight something could happen, but we have another guy at the table that can be like, hey, both of y'all y'all need to chill.
Yes.
So it works out really well.
And it's been tough because I feel like if we were just like one founder, you can make those decisions, be decisive with them, and then own them. Because there's 5, we've run like a Senate. So we're voting. We don't do it that often, but typically we're pretty aligned. But there have been several instances where we have to say, all right, let's vote. Are we going to do the 3 shows in Dallas? We're going to do 1 in Dallas, 1 in Houston. And it's 3-2. And so we move in that direction of like, what's the consensus say?
What's the vote that was the most split? It was like 2-2, and the 5th person was like undecided.
Man, there's been so many.
I didn't want to do the new office. I'll admit that. I saw the number. It was like 10 million. I was like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I like Office 2 is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a crazy vote like that.
Once a
lot.
week?
Yeah. We've had hard things of like, what's crazy is there's 5 of us. 2 of those members are twins. So that's
they're always
family.
aligned.
We had Ty's dad as our manager for, the first 15 years, 14 years of our company. So that brought more fans. It's just, and we were told right off the bat, I remember sitting with some mentors, and they literally looked us dead in the eye and was like, you will fail as a company working with your best friends and family. I mean, they said it directly to us, and they were like, you should get out now.
They said what they needed to say for us to say, we're going to prove you wrong.
And, it's been tough to keep that core, because there have been very significant moments where you're just like, man, maybe we did just break it, because those family things or the hard decisions that just happen that, you have to do what's right for the company. But, if that goes against like maybe a family issue, a relationship in there, like it's tough. But, so far we're hanging in there.
Here we are.
We're 17, going in 18 years in next month. So it's been a wild ride.
I've gotten that same advice myself. Don't do business with friends and family. It'll fail, and it'll blow up the relationships. So how do you guys manage those dynamics? Like what? And was there a point where you were like, all right, we have to shift the way that we're thinking about that. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think we operate under the same dynamics. Like the five of us, our relationship and our extended families come first. So, you know, if Cody's going through a family issue, it's like, hey, you take care of your family first. Like family first. Job is the least important thing, and there's 4 other guys that can carry the weight of that. Now, if it's like an internal thing on like a big vote, and this is where it comes in, where it does involve family, that's where it gets a little bit more sticky. But at the end of the day, it's the 5 of us are the company, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of the 5 of us as best as we can. And so we operate under the same, you know, dynamics of how you were told, but it's not always easy. And again, like your own like selfishness gets in the way quite often.
Okay, so a little bit more on that, if you would. Like you said, your own selfishness. If I can ask, what does the selfishness look like?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I just feel like again, we've gone in waves. So like, Cody was the first to get married. I was the first to have children. Things have been said in our company. We make it a joke now. It's actually like I remember Corey. He'd be fine for me to say this.
This is amazing.
You know, we're like, I'm in the thick of it. Have a newborn or whatever, and he literally. Well, it started with like he would say stuff like, "Well, I didn't tell you to get married. Like, company comes first.
How dare you?"
And then he said the same thing about kids. And then it's like, well, then he gets into the kid game, and he's like, dang. Like that, I realize it now. Like I'm in it, like, and I'm sorry, you know. And so
fair enough.
And there's nothing you can say to that. Like you want it. My selfishness wants to be like, I don't care about your apology. Like you're not getting time off because you didn't give me time off. Get to work.
I'm gonna destroy you. Yeah.
Obviously, it's like, hey, look, like he admitted like he was immature in that moment. Sure. It's like move on from it.
Yeah.
But that's like a minor example of like I could be selfish in that regard and be like, no, I'm not. Forget your apology. You're doing what I did. Like, I didn't tell you to have twins, you know, like, but it's life happens and you grow up and you learn things. And so it's just like that. But the selfishness, like there was a thought where I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like you need 2 weeks off. Like Kobe's about to have his third kid.
Yeah.
And we just implemented a new policy in our company where paternity leave is now a month.
Okay.
When we did it, it was 1 week. Like you get 1 week. You're back at the office. Like on day 8, if you're not back there, like we're just reaming each other. And now Kobe's about to take a month off, and we're like, do we get like retroactively? Like, can we take this?
It's 4 months for me.
Yeah, I know exactly.
A month per kid.
So it's like little stuff like that. Like just comes up where it's like selfishly, I'm like, dude, you get a week off. Let's be honest.
But, that's good.
So just little stuff like that.
What does the substantive aspect of this look like? Kind of. In 2026, you know, 20 years later, letting everybody's kind of gifts and sort of what you've grown into as professionals, how does that get a chance to shine?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely delegated a lot of roles that we used to take, and that's from HR to creative to the editing, all of it. And now we have a whole team that's just focused on the creative side of things. So we have a new room upstairs called the lab, and it's just a place where any employee can go in and on a whiteboard just write down ideas. And the beauty of it is that they want Tyler to walk in there with a red pen and like X out bad ideas that he doesn't like, and then just circle ones that he does like. And we did an offsite the other day, and all 70 of us sat down and we did like these little stations, and everyone would just throw in ideas for Trick Shot Town or for the book series or YouTube videos or the next podcast topic. And it was really cool to see all the different people in the melting pot that is the Dude Perfect team come together and make some really cool, innovative ideas that we hadn't thought of because we've just kind of been in this same lane for so long. And so Tyler, I would say, is the end all be all when it comes to the YouTube main channel, but it is a whole back end of teammates that have made it work and have perfected it.
And it allows employees to feel, you know, bought in and that they're a piece of the creativity that Dude Perfect is, because we're a creative company.
An example for those that are watching, we did a mystery detective battle, and I don't do a lot of like board games or like mystery games, and I was like making fun of it, like, what are we, nerds? Like, I don't want to go walk around a mansion and play a murder mystery with you guys. And so I got outvoted, and we did it. And I'm like the most invested. Like, I had the most fun that night. We stayed up all night, and there was like a killing in the living room that was all staged, and we had to find clues. And like, I just bought in, and it's one of our most beloved series. We've done 3 of them now, and that's one that I would have never in a million years thought that would work on our channel. But sure enough, there's a lot of nerds out there.
Yeah. Guilty.
Guilty.
Let's talk about how this all filters into the entire company. So you guys have this spirit of friendly competition, but you guys have a lot of built trust. You've known each other for a long time. How do you manage those dynamics around a company of 75 people? Like, obviously, there's a very unique culture happening here. I mean, you can just look around the building and see this is different from a lot of businesses. But how do you teach people to manage that competitive spirit with also, conversely, a spirit of cooperation and, hey, like in the end, we all love each other. We're all on the same team. We're all pushing. We're all rowing in the same direction. Like, how do you get people to buy into that quickly?
That's a great question. I would say over the last 18 months, obviously we have prided ourselves on culture for the entirety of our company and still do. Adding so many people so quickly, you are going to have, that's going to slip a little bit. Change is hard, and it's going to happen, and there's going to be people that maybe don't buy into exactly what your vision of culture is. And but I've always preached that you can teach anybody a skill set. You can't teach people a work ethic.
Okay.
And we really want people who, this isn't a job they come to for a paycheck. This is a job they come to because they have a passion for it, and they truly love this place for what it stands for, what it does for the world, and brings joy and hope to people and fun for families. Like, we want people to be bought into that trust. And when this place turns and it turns into this is a place to come get a paycheck, I think you lose the culture piece. Yeah. Like, you lose what you've built. And so I think the 5 of us, all the guys do a really good job of just knowing employees, letting employees be seen. When I worked at an architecture firm, if I got called into a CEO's office, like, that was a problem. Like, it wasn't a good thing.
Right.
And so, like, we don't want to be that company. We want to be a company that's just an approachable company, a company that does share that competition. Like, we just had a huge debate upstairs before this podcast, which, I think it's a pretty good debate of who's the main guy of the Backstreet Boys.
That's good.
And
is that up for debate?
Who is it?
Nick. Not even close.
Wow.
He's the most beloved, but I don't know.
He stands in the middle.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So it's minor things like this. I disagree with you guys.
So who's your guy?
It's Brian, for sure.
No way.
Yeah, I actually agree with this.
It's fine. Hey,
that's a thing.
Brian's the lead guy. Nick is the most beloved.
Who's NSYNC's main guy?
Justin.
Come on.
What's the...
Hey.
They are allowed to have it. Oh, y'all are crazy.
Yeah,
wait. So you think it's not Justin?
No, it is. I'm saying they're the same. Nick and Justin are the same guy.
It's amazing. But my point is exactly this. Like, we debate things.
Nick is the prettiest one.
Ryan.
So yeah, I think that's how we buy people into the culture of just and what Cody just said, letting them be a part of big decisions for our company. Like, letting an accountant of our company do creative. Like, I mean, they never even thought they were probably going to do that, but to have a part of like, wow, like, I came up with that idea, and now it's on YouTube. Like, it's just a cool, like, it knits everyone together. And so, but growing a company is hard, and change is hard. And we don't do everything perfectly. We make a lot of mistakes, and we try to learn from those. But it's a daily task for sure. Do you have anything to?
No, that's great.
Well, Brian's the main guy.
I'm still thinking about the NSYNC and Backstreet Boys thing. I'm really spiraling right now.
He's going to destroy you.
I didn't even know that was a debate.
Yeah.
Well, at least y'all didn't say Kevin, because that was the consistence upstairs.
I don't even know who Brian is.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
All right, let's talk about prior to inculcating someone into the culture. When you're thinking about bringing someone on, like, what does the interview process even look like for hiring someone for Dude Perfect? Like, and what values are you emphasizing? What qualities are you looking for? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, for the first 15 years, we had a team of about 25, and I would say I probably let out the most, maybe with Kobe's help. on finding people, and Tim would handle the editor side. I handled a lot of like the talent acquisition of people that were coming in to help with scheduling, logistics, brand deals, all that kind of stuff. And then when you're meeting them, you're just seeing if there's a culture fit. Typically, it's someone that we've worked with in the past. We're kind of on an island in the YouTube, what would you call it, media space, being here in Frisco, right, versus being in LA. But we've always valued being in Texas, being close to home. Me and Ty and Garrett are all from the Dallas area, and the twins are from Houston. And so it's always made sense to be rooted here, but it does leave you a little bit scarce on the job market for what we're trying to hire. Like an art department doesn't really thrive in the Dallas Metroplex. And so we've had to, on our TV show, we would meet people and shake hands and get resumes and bring them on through that way. But today we have an HR employee, and she's unbelievable, Lindsay, and she handles all onboarding. She knows the culture fit, what we're looking for, hard workers, and she's had to move on from people that don't fit the culture. And so it's a tough task, but that's super rare in our business. We've really treated everyone that comes in here like family, and the hope is that they're here for life. And it's been a really cool partnership.
That's great. All right. What was the time when the values were tested the most? I mean, you guys have talked about some of this, but what was the moment where you thought this might not work out? Like this might be the end.
Yeah, I think the main one was probably moving on from Ty's dad.
Okay.
As you know, obviously Ty disagreed with that decision to the max, which again I totally respect. But it was a tough decision because we love Jeff, and he did so much for our company. But as we were growing, it just we just had to make a hard decision. But it was tested because, you know, there was times where we woke up the next day and been like, man, you know, is the five of us, or is our relationship broken? I don't know, you know, and it took a lot of time to heal and kind of earn some trust back in some situations. But I would say that was the most trying time in our company. And to Ty's credit, you know, he's been great and handled it really well, and still been a huge leader for this company. And but that was probably the time that it was tested, that tested the most, for sure.
How do Aggie values and roots guide you guys in a tough situation like that? Like, what do you hearken back to about your education and your time in that culture when the going gets tough, if you will?
I mean, I think for us, like, just being in the Aggie family and having that culture background, we all come from really, really great families, and my parents were Aggies, and I've got, I think, 27. So I have a lot of Aggies in my family. I don't know why my watch is losing its mind. But no, I think it's just been the spirit of, like, an Aggie works hard, an Aggie has a network, an Aggie doesn't lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. In fact, I was shaving my golf scores one summer on tour because I wanted to be consistently in the 80s, and I was shooting a lot of 91s, and I would do some shaving, and the guys literally had a whole ploy. They caught me, and I had to be like, guys, you're right. I was cheating on hole 17. I said I got a birdie. It was a par, and I'm sorry. And so I haven't cheated since. But it's those kinds of aspirations that I don't know if it's because they're Aggies, but I like to think that it's because they don't tolerate it.
Yeah, I think A&M fits. We were all raised in really good homes, and the Aggie lifestyle is just. I would just boil it down to integrity.
It's good.
Aggie's just, you know, the reason why the Aggie network is so strong is because you can trust mostly a person who's graduated from Texas A&M to have integrity. And again, that's not saying you're perfect. That's just saying that, like, you're willing to admit mistakes when you make them, because you will.
You're the most well-rounded of all the schools.
Yeah, and I don't care if you call us a cult or not. Like, you know, like, I love the Aggie network, and I think it's so funny to see people from the outside. I'm friends with a bunch of Longhorns, and they see. I mean, now their kids are about to go to college, and they see what the Aggie Network means, and they're like, dude, I want my kids to go to A&M because it does mean something to be an Aggie. It's not just another piece of paper. Like, it truly means something, and that's what I love about it. So I do think like that has been instilled in us, just that piece of A&M is really just it's even built stronger what we grew up on, and it really solidified it in college, and it's helped us. And as we have grown up and become old, which is what we
Here
are
we
now.
are, almost 40.
Yeah.
Love that. Got a floater. You guys got 3 from Dallas, 2 from Houston. Which city is better, Houston or Dallas?
Is that a question?
Well, I'm really disappointed in the Houston Aggies in general because, again, Aggies don't tolerate really cheating and lying.
The trash can banging Houston Astro jab.
I feel like
Respect it.
It's a good
they're
place to start this
celebrating.
discussion.
They're celebrating a fake championship, but that's fine. We're here to forgive.
See, what I like to say is the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros each have 1 clean World Series.
Yep, I
We're
agree with
tied.
that. We're tied.
1 each.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as like the city itself goes, I mean, Dallas and Houston, like the city Dallas, the downtown Houston area, I call it a wash. I don't really want to live in either of them. Now the suburbs, Dallas wins.
Yeah.
And that's where we live, the suburbs of Dallas. We're not really from Dallas, but yeah, it's just the humidity's a little bit better up here.
Yeah, the humidity. I think the lack of zoning laws really
Yeah, the
affects
zoning
the
laws.
aesthetics when you've got a grocery store, apartment complex,
A church right next to an elementary school.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Not a fan.
Fair enough.
Ugliest coast in all of the world. It is. Like, what other beaches
Look, dude,
brown?
look, at the end of the day, I
Seattle.
just don't think the people in Houston just need
It's safe.
to come to Dallas and see
Come
for
on, baby.
themselves. Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Love to have it.
I'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Yes,
I love my Houston friends.
without a doubt.
Just don't like their city or their sports teams.
We could riff on this
Yeah,
for an
we
hour.
could.
As you look back on your journey from Texas A&M to holding Guinness World Records, touring the globe, how does it feel to be called Aggie Legends?
I'm extremely grateful. I've never thought, I don't even consider myself an Aggie legend. I'm looking at like Reggie McNeil and AC Law. I've those guys as legends.
You're not in the same ballpark, just to be clear.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
You're
So, like,
saying that you are.
no, I'm saying
No,
like
you're saying you're in the same combo.
we'll discuss later.
Okay.
Maybe I am in the same combo. I'll let the kids
See,
decide.
I knew it.
But no, I'm super grateful to even be sitting here talking to you guys. It's a pretty cool full circle moment for me.
Yeah, for me, for sure. First outfit I was ever put in as a newborn was a Yell Leader outfit onesie. Grew up going to Bonfire, went to Texas A&M games growing up my whole life. And so to be an Aggie was a dream come true, and then getting my ring and making it through it wasn't easy. Some of us are dealing with Wi-Fi, dial-up, not 5G.
Yeah.
And so it's a little harder for some of us. I had to study a little more than these guys and do trick shots on the weekends.
Yeah.
It was a tough 4 years, but 4.5 years, let's be clear. But I got it done. The podcast guys laugh. It's like, that checks out.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to current Aggies or any young entrepreneurs hoping to take a passion project and scale it into something big?
Yeah, no, I think a big piece for us was leveraging the job that we had to make the business plan for the one that we wanted. So like while we were all working hard, had a salary, had some consistency, on the nights off or the weekends, we were building this business to where, all right, let's now put this into practice. And it made sense and it worked because we had this whole plan. I'm not team quit your job tomorrow and go all in on whatever you want to do. It's like, have a plan, talk to those around you, make sure that it's sound and that you have a team involved to make it work. But I'm all in on the entrepreneur life. Like, it'll be really hard for me if something ever goes sideways to go apply for a regular job, because the variety that Dude Perfect provides is next to none. It's been awesome.
I would add to college kids and kids in general, be patient. I think in today's world with social media, we have this like instant gratification. We see people post success right in front of your eyes. Yeah. That success did not happen overnight. And so like, have grace for yourself. You will fail. Mm-hmm. Be patient. And you're like young kids out of college, you know, it's like, I need to make so much money right now. It's like, dude, you got your whole life ahead of you. Like, sit back, enjoy the moment. You're going to look back in life and be like, man, I wish I would have like enjoyed my 20s more, or I wish I would have done this in my 30s, because it goes so quick. And so just like be patient, have fun in life. It's too short, and that would be my advice.
That's such a valuable thing, like not to quit your job and all right, I got 9 months to make this work. So what does that look like for you guys now? Like, all right, so we're all maybe a little bit older, but what does enjoy your 40s look like? What does enjoy your 30s look like? How has that changed for you guys as you gotten older?
I think it's different for each dude. If you were to ask it, like for Tyler, he's really leaning in on the outdoor channel and finding hunts that make the most sense and the outdoor projects that really get him excited. He's brought in the Pettit brothers, Andy Pettit's boys, and got this really cool partnership where they're out making videos and they're hunting for game, and then they're cooking it at night, and it's like he's living his best life. Like, that's what Tyler wants. For me, I've loved incorporating my family as much as possible, or my wife, in some of these trips that I do. So if I go speak somewhere or I'm on a panel, like I'll say, hey, Allison, can we get a sitter? Or my mom or her mom will keep the kids, and she'll join me. And it's like that. We didn't incorporate our wives a whole lot early on. And I feel like now that we're at this age of like, hey, like Garrett can go do the Super Bowl podcast car wash and get interviewed by 30 people, and we don't all 5 have to be there. And I think there's a beauty in that as we've aged, that it's like, hey, we can delegate, and we can all separate and do things that we're passionate about. Corey and Kobe, they love traveling and nice hotels. And so they jump on every project that has to do with a Ritz-Carlton, and that's okay. That's their thing. Let them do a spa day.
Yeah. There's nothing that ages you faster than having kids, because, it was yesterday that I was
You had hair.
I had hair. That I was holding my 11-year-old, and it's just like he's 11, and time is fleeting. And I would say for my 40s, because I'm close to getting there.
He's our oldest dude.
Nice.
I would say, like, I want to take my own advice and just sit back and relax a little bit and just enjoy the moment.
Wow. I'm going to hold you to that this year.
Not have this like outlook of, oh, what am I going to do? I got these things I need to do and have to fulfill. And if it doesn't happen, like, who cares? So really just try to take my own advice and sit back and really enjoy my family.
And enjoy an Aggie game every single time I sit down with him.
That's just too hard, dude. Enjoying an Aggie game.
First drive, and Marcel Reed will throw a pick, and he's like, we're done. We're not going to win a game. It's just the most negative.
Yeah, dude, I'm a pessimist at heart, man.
I know, but let's be a
be
little
ready to
more
be happy
optimist.
mindset. It's tough. It's tough being an Aggie with that mindset.
Have you told Elko you've wanted him fired like 30 times? With
No, Elko's a great guy. I think he's got our program right where we need to be. But, yeah, I would like an Aggie championship. Is that too much to ask for?
In what sport?
A big sport.
What's a big sport?
Baseball, football, basketball, one of the two.
Baseball doesn't really do it for me. I mean, like, I'd be pumped, but I'm not like, that'll get me excited for a day, a week, blow some bubbles.
Well, right now we're a women's school because they are the only ones carrying us.
Equestrian?
Probably women's equestrian. I don't even know if the men's equestrian.
Track?
Women's track. I mean, again, yeah, there is track. I just, but yeah, I do need to enjoy an Aggie game. It's tough.
I want a football title before I die.
Dude, I'm sure they have we can throw up the QR code to donate to the NIL fund.
That's so good. You know what? I'm gonna
they would love your support.
Call me, Texas A&M alum.
Yeah,
It's time to pony up.
Travis Dabney on the line.
Yeah.
Final question that we ask all of our guests: what are your top lessons in leadership?
Ooh,
that's a tough one.
Let's get counterintuitive. Let's get surprising. Like, let's get recent. Like, what is this stuff that that people haven't heard, before?
I don't talk about this a whole lot, but I think for me, the last 2 or 3 years, I've been really big on my routine, on waking up about 5:30, having the house by myself. I have 4 kids at home and 4 pets. And so to have a quiet home for an hour before anybody wakes up, do my sauna, do my workout, do my journal, get breakfast ready, my coffee, and like have that hour to reflect and be present going into my day changes my whole outlook versus the days where I sleep right up until work. I come in and the team can just tell the difference in the Cody that didn't set aside that hour versus the one that was proactive, did get up early, and was disciplined. There's just a huge difference in my leadership approach. I am more careful with what I say, how I say it. And so I've been really big on that.
So you're less likely to destroy someone?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, I'll still destroy them. It'll just be more direct. Like, okay, this is why I'm going to destroy you.
Yeah, I think routine is really, really key.
Okay.
I do think having a solid routine in life, like being a habitual, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mind, and I do think that helps tremendously. I would say for me, again, the thing I've learned the most, because if what doesn't show on camera is on camera, Ty is the rage monster. Ty is the guy that explodes and that's not Ty. Ty's actually the complete opposite of that. That's actually me that he's portraying. And I'm so quick to anger. Like it's just
it's the ginger.
It might be the ginger. It's just something that I have learned, that again, like that patience and that humility, because I am so quick to anger. Like that's just something I've learned, and that just doesn't work. And to recognize each person's like individuality and like really find yourself and admit to yourself like, oh, I actually am that. And sometimes that is hard to admit to yourself, but admitting that to yourself and then working on that, I think, is the main thing that I've learned as being a leader. Like you have to start with yourself if you expect others to do that, and lead by example. And I'm not saying I'm great at that. I still definitely am quick to anger, and my kids will definitely tell you that. But that's something I've probably learned the most, is being in this leadership role that we've taken on, is just being a good example of yourself, and that's tough sometimes.
How do you do it? Like, what do you, when you're at that moment, you're about to blow up?
Sometimes I have to have these guys tell me that.
No, but when we first started, like there was some like quick trigger, like emotional stuff. And Garrett for the last 10 years has been a remarkable example of like put in the work, growing as an individual. And I mean, honestly, like you haven't exploded other than a soccer game, rec league Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. because he thought he got fouled with a red card.
Yeah.
And he's about to rip the ref's head off. Other than that, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's I mean, having 4 guys that you work with that you consider your best friends, or you grow in that relationship. We don't consider ourselves best friends anymore. We're more family. We're brothers. And having that has just been huge for us. Like, again, if I was leading this company by myself, I'm not sure I have grown in that area. I think maybe I still am like everything that I was. And so like it was key to have these other guys around me, and for them to build each other up in those areas, and sometimes to say the hard things that you don't want to hear.
Yeah, I'd still be shaving golf scores.
Yeah, accountability.
That was 5 years ago.
Can't have that.
So,
guys, I really appreciate the insights today. Thank you for
thanks for having us, man. It's been fun.
I absolutely enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
Very cool.
Thank you, Garrett and Cody, for sharing your experiences and your lessons in leadership with us today on Aggie Legends. On behalf of Mays Business School, I'm Ben Wiggins. We hope you will subscribe to the show, share it with a friend, drop a like or a comment. Everything helps. Here at Mays Business School, we're building a better future through business, and we thank you for being a part of it.